Hey guys, welcome back to Tech Town, our third installment of Season 2.
That's right, Season 2, Episode 3.
I'm Mr. Ellsberg.
I'm Professor Bauman.
And we're here to talk all things tech with you this week. Last week, we touched upon notes. The week before that, we touched upon
video editing.
And then this week, we're talking about GPS.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're trying to think of some things that are interesting and helpful for you and that you can get your hands dirty with. So, if it's video editing, go out and make a video. This one's going to be on GPS, so go out there and, geocache.
That's right. So we're going to be talking about all things location-wise when it comes to new types of technology, how to find where you're at.
Yeah.
So why is it important? Why is it cool?
All right, so GPS, why is it cool? Well, there's so many things that GPS can do. It basically can tell you, the most simple thing is what it is it can tell you where you are on this earth.
Right.
Pretty exactly.
Yeah, it's a nice thing to have.
So yeah, that is pretty cool.
You don't want to get lost?
No, yeah, not just not get lost. Now it opens up all sorts of doors of things you can do. So, for example, the government actually has a website, it's gps.gov, and gps.gov/applications, which we'll put all these links in the show notes, which go in the description below the video here. Just click Show More, and you'll see all the notes. So GPS applications, this website has applications in agriculture, aviation, environment. Here, let me give you a little taste of what all there is. And roads and highways and space. And so basically anything that you can think of these days uses GPS because it is so important for launching satellites or building roads or anything like that you definitely have to be able to use computers to know exactly where you are a lot of times. So let's check out, what do we say, space, how about? So what do you need GPS for in space? Well, there's altitude, there's space, there's navigation. So this just kind of gives an overview of all the different things that it's used for, and it is a million different things.
Right, and these are just some of the things that the government has found its uses for.
Yep.
It could be that there's other uses.
Oh yeah, exactly. And so the reason the government's involved is because when you want to launch satellites, you kind of got to get permission.
Right.
So the government has stepped in and said, not anybody who wants can just launch whatever they want into space.
Yep.
So the government has GPS available for people. So they actually kind of coordinated it or did it to be able to then give other either private or public causes the ability to know where they are.
Yeah.
So, all right. So yeah. So we got GPS for everything. So how it actually does work is pretty amazing. It uses satellites. So there's these satellites buzzing around the Earth at all times.
Right.
And it needs at least 3. But if you can get 3, then you can triangulate your position.
I've heard that. Triangulate.
Yeah, you hear that in all the movies and stuff, right?
So you're 1 point.
Yeah, exactly. So you got 1 point, you got a satellite, and so the more satellites you have, the more accurate you can be. So you can get 7 GPS satellites connected to you to try and figure out where you are, and it's going to give you a better picture. But even so, you just need a couple to be able to figure out, okay, well, if I'm here in space, and that's there, and we're this distance apart.
Would that be hectangulating?
Ooh, I like that. Now that is a band name or something. So, yeah, we'd know exactly where we are.
Yeah, so if you have 7 different,
I'm hectangulating right now.
Yeah.
It's all them satellites. Yeah. So, it's constantly talking to satellites out in space and saying, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where am I? Where am I? And so it can actually figure out, to a really pretty close degree, where you are on the Earth.
Very cool.
So there's a couple websites that I have in the notes that can show you actually this live view of where these satellites are.
That's cool.
So it'll show you a little map of the world, and it'll have the path and the little dot of where that satellite is right now, so you can watch them fly around.
Nice. And on clear sky night in Portland.
Oh yeah.
One of the 14.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can maybe go out and see yourself a satellite.
Exactly.
The one that's feeding data to you right at that moment.
Exactly. If you look up on your phone, where am I right now? It's beaming directly at that one that you're seeing. So, all right. So, and then there's also the math of how that works, which it's kind of interesting. If you're into math and you want to look in, there's a whole website that has a lot of explanation of exactly how it does all that triangulation or hectangulation.
Yeah.
So, if you're into the math thing, it is really pretty amazing what they can do to be able to calculate that. So. All right. So, one of the most simple uses of GPS is to just say, okay, I want to find something on, let's say, Google Maps.
Okay.
And I want to know what GPS coordinate it is so that later I can find it.
Right.
So, all right, we're going to try that out. So check this out. We're going to go to Google Maps. and we're going to say, "Phew, nice fractals." We're going to say, "Find anywhere." So let's see, where should we go in the world to find the GPS coordinates?
Oh, let's go to Rio, Brazil.
Rio
de Janeiro.
Nice, that's what I'm talking about. Okay. So, a lot of cool things in Rio, it seems like. How about the beach? What you can do is you can basically click anywhere, and if you just click once, there's sometimes where it'll actually click on a thing. If you kind of click on nothing, so it's hard to describe, but try and play around. If you just click where it does that little white animation, on the left here, it'll then show you what you clicked on.
Wow.
And one of the things it tells you is these numbers. So these numbers are GPS coordinates.
Wow.
So that's really the deal. So it's saying 22, 46, 38.7. So what that means is it's 22 degrees, 46 minutes, and 38.7 seconds, I believe is how you say that.
That's crazy.
And that's the north and south, and then there's the east and west. And so what you do is based on the north and south numbers and the east and west numbers. If you get it exact enough, you can tell exactly where you are on the planet.
Whoa.
So that's the way on Google Maps. You just go find anywhere you want. Maybe you want to know where Metro East is.
Yeah. Let's see if we can find. Let's see if it pops up. Whoa, there we go.
Yeah. There we go. Boom.
Yeah.
So
nice.
if you actually click on it, like I say, it may or may not give you the GPS coordinates. You kind of have to click not on it sometimes, which is a little weird. But then, okay, so basically in Gresham, here's the GPS coordinates. So, and you can even type those in the search box, and it'll take you exactly there too.
Huh.
So
that's our old location, which is pretty funny.
Oh.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure exactly where that is. Maybe that is our location.
No, I just clicked. Somewhere close. Definitely 45.49942 though.
Yep.
So, all right. So these numbers, these two numbers, if you know that, you know exactly where on the world you are, and that can be really amazing because you can use that for all these things we were talking about.
Okay. So
maybe the government uses for crazy things, but how do you use it? How are we going to use this geocaching, or sorry, the GPS coordinates? And one way is, like I was saying, geocaching. So we talked about this a little before. Geocaching is using GPS coordinates to basically go on a treasure hunt. Around the city or around anywhere. Yeah. So people have little things that they put out there, little boxes or trinkets or, gold doubloons. And,
Easter eggs.
Yeah, Easter eggs, exactly.
It's a bit like Easter egg hunting for adults or for people that really know what they're doing.
Exactly. Yeah. So, you can go to Geocaching, the website, and it will tell you how to get started. All you need is just a device, maybe it's your phone or a different device that can tell you those GPS coordinates.
Right.
And then it'll have people in your area that give you the little clues. And so what you do is you go actually hike around in the real world, and sometimes it's a big hike, sometimes it's just downtown, and you can find these little trinkets, and then you can say, hey, I went there, I found it, and then you get points or whatever.
Right.
So, check that out. I recommend it. I've only done that once, so I'm not an expert by any means. But
it's a very cool way to see a different side of the place that you're in.
Yeah.
Because you're going to go into some areas that you might not have thought of ever to go before. And sometimes those areas are these some special treat spots that, choice areas that you would never have thought of going. And now you get to go.
Yeah, exactly.
And you get to find some cool stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. I think it's pretty cool because there are a lot of times where you're like, hey, what do we want to do? I mean, a lot of things cost money. I've gone out to eat a lot. Geocaching is kind of a fun one where it's cheap or free, and it gets you to see a new part of the city.
Right. Very cool.
So, all right. So another fun thing about geocaching, I just found this article, and it was that police found something they thought was a bomb. So they brought in the bomb squad and the police and everything. Turns out it was just a geocaching little token thing. So someone had just put something in somewhere where the police didn't know, and they thought it was a bomb.
Oh, jeez.
So watch out. Don't put bombs as geocaching.
Yeah, check your cache.
Yeah. All right. So, okay, a couple other cool uses of GPS. Number two, Ingress, and that is this game, and I think it's only on Android phones right now, but maybe it's for iOS, where you are part of one of two teams in the world, and you have to go into real spots around the city, or around anywhere, and hack the portals, and these portals are kind of like in geocaching. They're just like maybe a cool piece of art in the city or a main bridge or something. So people make these things into things that you can hack, and you have to be right next to them and tap the little hack button, and then you can start gaining more portals and you start gaining areas and stuff. It's this whole game that millions of people are playing, and I wish I had the Android phone to actually be able to play this. It's pretty sweet. Some people on their lunch break just walk out and quickly hack a few portals near their work and then come back and then, okay, go back to work. But so it's called Ingress, and I've got the link in the notes.
Right. Anytime that you can hack something for good.
Oh, yeah. This is
right.
This is a good hack.
Yeah, the good hack.
All right, and so I have a list of more GPS games. Like, there's games based on GPS things where you kind of, wander around in the real world. That's what I think is cool about GPS, is it's incorporating, video games or computer activities, but also incorporating the real world. So you have to go to these places and, get out and see things.
Yeah, and so a lot of the games that you might have played, I think Modern Warfare is one. Like, a lot of those games take actual maps that are already set from, GPS. Software that's already made that for them.
Yeah.
And then they just lay over the top of it, I don't know, goblins and ghouls and like zombies and stuff, and then you're actually playing in those areas.
Yeah, it's true. So you can get it accurate, and instead of them having to, by hand try and draw out the map, what they can do is they can use GPS to automatically map that stuff out.
Right. Very cool.
So, okay, a couple more useful GPS products. So one of them is the bus tracker. So the buses in Portland and a bunch of other cities have GPSs in them, and the city offers a service where you can track your bus. Right. So if you're waiting at the bus stop and you say, I want to know the schedule for this bus, not only will it tell you the schedule, it'll tell you actually that it's 2 minutes late for this specific time. And the way it does that is it knows where the GPS of the bus
Very
is.
Cool. Yeah.
And that's actually a little more interesting because even knowing the GPS, you may not know how many minutes it's late because that's based on traffic.
Right.
So that's another lesson for another day.
Right, but you'll know where it is.
So you'll know where it is.
Yeah.
And so if you want to check out trimet.org/arrivals, that's where you can type in the number of your bus and the stop that you're at, and it'll tell you when the bus is coming.
My bus is at 45.126.
Exactly the location, yes.
M562S73 point.
Well, you don't want to know the location of the driver's toe. You want to know the big bus.
Right.
All right. So, track your bus. That's actually super helpful. If you've ever been waiting for a bus, you don't know when it's coming, you're living in the past.
Right.
All right. Tracking your pet. You got a pet. What if your pet gets lost? I see all these flyers around for lost pets, and it's super sad. So you can actually buy GPS trackers for your pet. Yeah. That's a little weird, but hey, maybe it's better than losing your pet.
Right. Where did my snake go?
Where did my snake go? You got to have at least 2 GPS trackers on that snake.
At least 2. Yeah. Dual.
I got dual
angulating.
Yeah.
Dual angulating.
Ooh, wow. Yep. Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've talked up GPS. It seems awesome, right?
Right. Yeah.
It seems
like the world saver right now.
It is not quite the world saver in a couple ways. So it seems like it's the best, but it's not always. So a couple times it's not good at doing things, or it's not quite the right thing, the right tool for the job. It doesn't give you compass direction. So GPS itself won't tell you that you're facing north. Your phone may tell you that, but that's using something else. So GPS itself is only about where you are, not which way you're facing.
So it's important to carry magnets with you as a backup.
Yeah, you still might want some old school magnets. Another thing, you might want GPS to find all of your lost stuff for you. So like, I lost my keys.
Right.
Where's my keys? GPS can do that, but it's not quite good for 2 reasons. Number one is that the accuracy of GPS that we get as normal citizens is not that accurate. It's about a couple meters, so they say, a meter to about 10 meters. And that's actually still pretty good with the keys, but it may not be exact. It may not tell you it's under this cushion or something.
Right, and depending where you are too, sometimes it'll say that you're blocks, if not, quarter mile or a mile away from where you actually are. Yeah. Depending on how accurate the points are that are around you.
So another good reason that it won't quite be the best for finding your keys, let's say, or your wallet, is that GPS is kind of a one-way thing, you can think of it. It will tell you where you are, but it can't broadcast anything else out. So let's say I were to have a GPS device on my key, it would know that my key is somewhere, but it wouldn't be able to tell me. So you actually have to connect it to a different network, like a cell network or a Wi-Fi network or Bluetooth or something. You have to connect one more thing to be able to then actually say anything.
Wow.
So you have to tell, my phone or the internet or something, oh, hey, here this key is. So you would still have to either pay for a monthly service like a cell phone service or something. So we're not quite there yet. The technology is there, but the business isn't quite there. And then last about what to watch out for is privacy. So GPS itself, I believe, is encrypted. So when your phone is trying to figure out where it is, that part is encrypted. But whatever is asking for where you're located, that may not be encrypted.
Right.
So you may have a weather app on your phone or something that says, hey, I'm in Portland, Oregon, or more specifically in this neighborhood. That may not be encrypted. So anytime you're using GPS, just think about who knows where I am.
Who's asking for permission?
Exactly.
To use your GPS systems.
Exactly.
Because we talked about firewalls last time.
Yeah.
And that's if that pathway is open, there might be a little buddy that's jumping onto your, onto whatever service it is that you're trying to use at that time.
Exactly. Yes. People will be jumping on and trying to listen along. So you just got to assume that they're listening on to whatever you got.
Right.
And your location sometimes is pretty important. You don't want them to know. All right, so GPS, all the good stuff, few of the weird things, but how do you get it? How do you use it? Well, the easiest way for a lot of people is having a smartphone. So iPhones and Android phones, Windows phones, and tablets.
Right.
So that when you install an app on your phone, it will be able to use the GPS of the phone to do all these cool things.
Yep.
So there's other ways to sort of get your location, maybe not exact GPS coordinates, but it can do okay in a web browser. So if you're on your laptop or your desktop and you go to Google Maps, it will start in the city that you're in.
Right.
So it knows a little bit about where you are, and it can even do a little better than that. It's not quite using GPS. Sometimes it does other little tricks. But the idea is that you can use a web browser to at least figure out your GPS coordinates.
Right.
Maybe Google Maps will get you close, and then, like I showed, you can actually get the exact GPS coordinates of wherever you want. So, and then
in a lot of different websites will actually ask you specifically, like Google Maps or something like that, will you allow this this program to use to find your GPS coordinates?
Yeah, exactly. So that should be under your control, right? So you'll say, I allow. Another way is GPS devices that they sell specifically for GPS. So some of them are made for cars, so they have these TomToms or the Garmins, and they have a nice British voice or a weird celebrity voice that can tell you turn left. Those things are using GPS. And then,
or like the ones that you have for running or working out, right? So a lot of the watches that are there that you see people running around with, like the Nike one is a popular one around here because it's a local company. But you'll see that, so Garmin makes a wristwatch. You can say, hey, I'm swimming now, and then it will track you and show you how far you swam or biked or whatever it is. Which is kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly. So and they're built into other things for more like backpacking people or hiking. So you can buy GPSs just for that. So you're out in the wilderness and you want to know where you are. And some of those get really accurate because some people get really into tracking the trails and the elevation gains and things. And so you can buy some for that.
Or researchers will tag bears and apex predators and different types of megafauna to see how they're moving.
Megafauna?
Megafauna.
Now that is something I want to track. Nice. And then we had already, I think, previously talked about the Raspberry Pi. We're going to talk about that a little more because it's always awesome. But if you have a Raspberry Pi, it's this little computer you can buy, and you want to add GPS to it, to allow you to do things with that, you can do that. So you can have a link where you can buy this little GPS chip that you plug into this computer, and then you can write code to have it do whatever you want. So you can make your little bot, maybe attach it to a drone, and then have that drone fly around, and whenever it gets to a certain location, drop you your $100 bills. Rain $100 bills on you.
It's a very important thing to have.
So I don't know. Maybe you have some better ideas, but that's what I challenge you guys is to now find some way of using GPS. Maybe it's geocaching. I think that's a great one. If you have a smartphone, just look up geocaching and it'll tell you what to do. Or maybe it's building this Raspberry Pi with a GPS chip, put it on a drone, and raining money on stuff. But I want to have you guys go out and try a GPS at some.
At the very least, get online and use one of the different mapping software programs that we have. So obviously Google Maps is one. I'm trying to think. Quest, is that the other one?
Quest. There's Map Quest. There's Bing Maps.
Bing Maps.
There's there's a few other different mapping things. So yeah, use whatever you want to try and figure out if you can get from a place to GPS coordinates.
Right.
What is that?
Yep. And and find directions around where you're at. And geocaching is a lot of fun.
Yeah, geocaching. Check that one out.
Yeah, it doesn't cost anything. Well, except for this smartphone, which is pretty expensive.
Yeah.
But
After
you already got one of those.
Right. All right, cool. Well, I think that wraps up the GPS.
That's right. So we're moving on to the music side.
Music. All right. So today's music side of the week is about 30 great albums. I found this and I thought that people did a pretty good job just showing what 30 great albums kind of, it spans genres, it spans time. It's all about just what some great albums are. And I think they call them what did they call them? They call them the 30 albums that define cool.
Yep.
There we go. And it's true, they define cool as well. But so take a look at some of these albums. I think I've heard of almost all of them, and I've listened to almost all of them, and agree with almost all of them. So I'd say there are plenty of lists out there on the internet. This one's actually just a good one.
Ooh, yeah,
So you've got some classics.
All right, we're starting off.
You got some Bob Marley, Dark Side of the Moon.
Yep.
You got some Radiohead, Johnny Cash, Beastie Boys.
You got to listen to Metallica.
Queen, Outkast.
Yeah, you definitely have to listen to
Notorious B.I.G., Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yep.
So, I mean, some of these are older, some of these are newer, but these are just albums you gotta listen to.
Oh, man.
So it gives a little description of them.
Best.
Yeah.
Yeah, MGMT, a more recent one.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Dr. Dre, AC/DC, Joan Jett, and
oh, man.
So, yeah, that is the list. Go take a look on your own time and listen to all of those straight through.
That's right. Oh, man. Holy smokes. Look at that. Well, that's a top list right there.
That is a top list.
Yeah, definitely get home and check some of those things out. Some of those you might need parental support getting.
That's true.
But that's all right. Those are good.
That's
all
true.
right.
All right. So what do you got? I think
so.
This is the Mr. Ellsberg's
website of the week. That's right. And we got a doozy for you this week. And that is can't not tweet this.
Can't not tweet this.
I implore you to go to this website, can't-not-tweet-this.com.
Okay.
And good luck trying not to tweet this. Yeah, you can try. You can move. You can try. Yeah, you can try to get away from it, but you can't not tweet this. That's just how it is.
Oh, yeah.
Good luck not tweeting that.
I bet if you went to the upper left, you could not tweet that.
No. Yeah, well, good luck not tweeting that. All right.
All right. Good work. All right. So now and finally for the security segment of the week. Security. Side of the week. Nice jail bars. All right. So the security tip of the week is about LastPass. We talked about LastPass before, but I feel like I could almost talk about it every day.
Yeah.
It is the best thing to happen to passwords because passwords are annoying. You want to not have passwords. You want to forget all your passwords. You want to have good passwords, though. Oh. So LastPass is the answer. If you don't have LastPass and you've ever disliked passwords, right now, go get LastPass. And it's free for the basic stuff that you want to do. And what it'll do is it'll hook into your web browser. So let's say you have a laptop and you go to websites and you got to log in. It'll hook in there and remember, just like you've probably seen before. Sometimes it says, "Do you want to remember your Do you want us to remember your password?" It does that, but it's not just for one browser. It's not just for Chrome. And then if you open Firefox, it won't know.
Right.
And it's not just for this computer. You can log into another computer and log into your LastPass account. So all you have to do is remember one password.
It's the end all.
End-all, be-all, LastPass.
Now, full disclosure, I mean, obviously, things can still go horribly wrong.
Well, yes, you're never safe for good.
No. but it's one more step in the encryption process.
Exactly, and there's a lot of good kind of security stuff that they do. So it's not just that it remembers your passwords; it remembers your passwords in a secure way and only gives them to you when you ask for it. Right. So it's a good way to be good about doing good passwords and strong passwords and unique passwords, and then you can totally forget about them because LastPass remembers them.
Exactly. And I mean, like if you leave your computer open and you're signed in, I mean, you're still done. I mean, you're still done for. You gotta figure that out. You gotta lock your screen. You gotta do some different things. But it is one more step that's going to save you in the long run. And then not having to remember your passwords. You kidding me?
Oh, it's so nice. Oh, nice. Every time I go to the page that has the password form, it's just already in there.
Yeah.
Already in there.
So nice. Oh, money. Okay, so we want to galvanize you to get out and use the GPS systems. Go and try some of those different softwares. We've mentioned Google Maps because that's the one that's probably omnipresent for everyone. But yeah, there's others that are out there.
And I want to see some people geocaching. I want to see if you found some treasure, if you found a good spot.
Find the treasure.
Let us know.
Are you kidding me?
There's treasure
we're like 6 months away from Easter egg hunting. I mean, give me a break.
I know, right?
You get to go year round. Yeah, it's that great. Okay, and then we talked about the 30 great albums. We talked about can't not tweet this.
You can't not tweet this.
And then we talked about the LastPass. Check it out, and then obviously check out our previous Tech Town episodes below. We've got a great library.
Yeah, library at this point, and yeah, it's like none of this stuff is going out of date yet. It's still all useful, so check it out. You can even work on some things from like last week if you still want to work on figuring out what's the best note taker app. I'm still curious about that. I'm still using OneNote. Seems pretty good, but we're always wanting to hear updates for if you've tried any of these things out and how they go.
Leave comments below. Like our page. Take care, guys.
All
See
right.
you next week.
See you next week. Tech Town!
Woo!